What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one. So this is where we at. And yeah, I wanted to bring this to you guys, and I want to do this broadcast right now because this is very important. We need to understand the mindset of what's going on here. So yes, a former Sinaloa Kingpin is going to speak about some things and stuff like that in his broadcast. But before we get to him, we're going to go here first, and we're going to check out. Apparently, the Mexican authorities are warning of explosives that were planted by the cartels. So we're going to go here first, and we're going to check this out. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
We're heading back to the southern border now, where News Nation's Jorge Ventura is standing by for us. And Jorge, we are hearing of a new threat by Mexican cartels tonight. What are you monitoring?
Yeah, that's right, Natasha. This is extremely alarming. Mexican authorities are now putting out a new warning of cartels planting explosives on roads, highways, and neighborhoods in Tamaulipas, Mexico. That sits right across the Rio Grande Valley. Every single day, thousands of Texans cross over to the border to visit Tamaulipas. You're looking at these three images now of three different types of explosives. Mexican officials are urging Mexican citizens to not touch these explosives and to avoid.
This is wild right here. This is where they're at. The cartels are not playing. They say they're not going, but it is what it is, though. You know, when you have those type of people in that type of mind frame and stuff like that, it's either them or you. And that's just how it goes.
Them. And Natasha, I just got off the phone with a contact in Tamaulipas, Mexico, who tells me that those explosives are likely tied to two different criminal groups. The first, the Gulf cartel that controls Tamaulipas, and the second, the new cartel, Jalisco New Generation cartel. They're both battling for control in that Tamaulipas area. The contact also informs me that these explosives are often actually tied to drones and target Mexican authorities and other criminal groups. This warning is coming from the Mexican side of the border, but we are also urging Americans who are traveling to Mexico to keep an eye out for these type of explosives. Once again, you're taking a look at them right there on your screen. Three different types from Tamaulipas, Mexico. It's extremely alarming, especially for American citizens traveling to Mexico. And this new cartel warning also coming as News Nation has confirmed that cartel members shot an American hiker in Jacuba, California. That's right outside of San Diego, right on the border. You're actually looking at video of the American hiker actually being airlifted by Border Patrol agents, by BORTAC. It's a special unit with Border Patrol agents. According to the hikers, they say they didn't realize they were being held up by the cartel members because they didn't speak Spanish. And now you're seeing that video of that hiker being rescued. The cartel members did flee back to Mexico. This incident does come as President Trump has now designated Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And Natasha, last year I was actually reporting on that Mexican side where those cartel members came from. I was actually embedded with Mexican immigration officials on a story that we were working on for News Nation. That area is extremely dangerous. It's controlled by armed cartel members. We actually couldn't even go embedded with Mexican immigration unless the Mexican army was alongside us. So once again, it's an extremely dangerous area right there in Jacuma. That other side is Tecate, Mexico. Natasha.
Thanks for watching. Go to.
Okay, so yeah, y'all hear it right. It is what it is at this point. Very dangerous situation. They're putting out bombs, things like that, you know, to deter people, definitely Americans, and also other Mexicans from crossing back and forth with the Rio Grande and other areas and things like that. This is wild right here. So yeah, of course the cartels are not playing around, and yeah, that's the reason why Trump declared them a terrorist group, which they are. It is what it is, people. You know, we can't just sit here and act like this is not the case and things like that. You know, these people are highly dangerous and highly disrespectful, and they're in all types of trafficking, other things. We know that they've been trafficking you know, the illegals through, taking their money, doing all types of egregious things with the ladies that are trying to get that were, you know, the illegals and things like that. It's, oh man, yeah, they have to be stopped. But at the same time, though, too, Mexico has to want them to be stopped as well. Let's just be honest.
So what the French coast is,
let's just be honest here. If the Mexican government does not want the cartels to be stopped, they have to want the cartels to be stopped more so than, let's say, you know, Americans do, because it's their country that they're residing in. So yeah, it is what it is. So we're about to go here now. We're about to see what's going on. Apparently this former, you know, Mexican cartel member and things like that, well, Kingpin or whatever, you know, he's speaking out about a few things. Let's go here now.
Joining us live tonight is a man who knows the cartel like the back of his hand, former Sinaloa cartel kingpin, Margarito J. Flores Jr. Thank you so much for joining us. I understand why you are wearing glasses and a mask. It is incredibly brave to speak to us tonight.
Now, my question is, yes, and I had to stop it real quick. How you going to tell the man's legal name and then he's got a mask on? Like,
And what the French toast is there to think about?
I'm not understanding that. I'm really not understanding that. Like, you're going to tell his legal name and then, I mean, he has a mask on for a reason, so why tell his legal name? But all right, let's just keep going.
Tonight, I do want to start with the report we just saw about Sebastian. Put into perspective for us how life-threatening this work is, how important it is.
Well, I mean, the fact that he even came on your show says a lot. It's scary because he's actually still in the field, still working undercover and putting his life at risk to save, you know, women who are being and young children who are being trafficked by these drug cartels and other criminal organizations. So it's dangerous. I actually myself worked undercover, and it's probably the most scariest thing to do, and it shows a lot about his bravery and why he does.
Okay, ICE operations this past week. Let's see, 2,400 total arrests, 1,400 criminals arrested plus. Yeah, okay. So obviously, from what the gentleman just said, undercover. So yeah, he must have been an undercover agent, something like that. Let's keep going.
Does it?
Yeah.
So thanks to Sebastian.
If you could send a message to President Trump tonight, what is one thing you would want him to know about the cartels? One thing that you feel is not being taken into account enough?
You know what? I share this in all of my seminars that actually do that. It's going to take a multi-phase approach. It's not just about labeling these cartels as terrorist organizations. I think that's a great tool, but I think what no one.
Oh, hold on, not y'all. They ain't got the abuela out there, dude. The Mexican grandma, she out there with the bang bang pow pow. Okay then, I did. Listen, look, man, this is wild right here. I guarantee ain't none of the women in America finna do all this.
Ever looks at or fails to realize is that the drug trafficking is a business. So the war on drugs, it's okay to look at it as a military type group or to take military type actions against it, but it's a business, and I think that it's going to take a little bit more, and it's going to take a collaborative effort, not just in the border and in Mexico, but also in the United States. With my background, I was born and raised in Chicago. I always say that I was American made before I even stepped foot or came to meet any of the drug lords of the Sinaloa cartel. I was already a very successful kingpin in the United States, in a city like Chicago. And I think that what we fail to realize is that there's a lot more American drug distributors in the United States and in Mexico. I think that drug distribution in the United States and Canada and around the world, outscores any drug cartel in Mexico by far.
Yeah.
So I think
And
that
I think to your point, and I don't mean to interrupt here, but there's a notion that it is the cartel coming up from the southern border and infiltrating communities. And you say that is true. And also there are American-born operatives who are turning and working for the cartels. You were one of them along.
What? Hey, did they just say it? They just said it.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
Did she just American born? Listen, look, protect America from dangers, foreign and domestic. And domestic meaning in our own home, our own backyard. And you know what I'm saying? This reminds me of the situation of how these democratic cities and things like that are just not willing to play ball, stuff like that, trying to hide behind the sanctuary city laws and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Protecting the illegals more than they are protecting the taxpayer citizens. And this is kind of, you know, giving me a thought process about, you know what I'm saying, the way that is going. It's a shame that we're having to deal with the situation to where our own homegrown, our own natural born citizens that we've elected as officials in certain positions and things like that are willing to protect people that we know are here illegally because they came over here illegally without going through the proper channels and things like that it takes to become American citizens, and they're just going to protect these people. But this is what we're talking about here, protecting America from people that are foreign and domestic.
With your brother in Chicago, I know. What is one thing you can tell us about working for El Chapo and El Mayo that would surprise us?
That regardless of what anyone thinks, that the Mexican drug cartels are fearful of the United States government. They are fearful of the prisons and the laws, and they should be fearful of military action or anything that Donald Trump puts into place to combat them. I think it's great that Donald Trump is actually taking, the president's taking a strong stance against Mexican drug cartels. And they are fearful because they know that the laws of the United States ain't the same as in Mexico, that they can't get away with the things that they get away with. And it can go to show that, El Chapo's been, convicted and facing a life sentence, in a Florence prison. And now you have El Mayo in custody.
Yeah. Jay Flores, I wish we had more time. I appreciate speaking with you as always and how you have completely turned your life around, your mission today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, it is what it is at this point. He said what he had to say about the situation and things like that. And yes, apparently from what he's saying, though, too, that the Mexican cartels are in fear of America's power. Because listen, look, this is the thing right here. America holds a lot of power, and this is what's going on here. Trump is bringing that power back to America, aka make America great again, being respected upon the world stage and things like that. And yes, we needed this. We need this time now to get America back on track. So we, because we were falling all the way off. We had lack of respect amongst the world's union and things like that. That's the reason why this shit fell apart these past 4 years. It's crazy, but it's true. And, now that we have adults back in the room and they're going to actually try to help clear some of this stuff up so us as American taxpaying citizens won't have to suffer under the stupidity of what has been going on. Yes, it's time to clean up some stuff. We have to sweep around our own front door before we sweep around anybody else's. And that used to be an old song back in the 80s. Yeah. It just is what it is, man. So yeah, obviously we know now that from what this gentleman said that the cartels are on high alert. They know that America would not play around with them. And I think full force should be sent in. Now, I don't know what Sheinbaum is willing to do, and she's the president of Mexico. I don't know what she's willing to do to help America, help her to, clean up what's going on in Mexico. I would think that, she would want the cartels to be gone too as well, but who knows, the corruption or whatever's going on down there in Mexico, nobody really knows. And this is just alleged. I'm just saying, but listen, look, it's insane to see that, she's in office now and she's not willing to play ball with clearing up so much of the cartel's mess and things like that these people are doing. And they're clearly trafficking, human beings and all types of other things across the border, stuff like that. It's time out for the mess. It's time out for the mess. The adults are back in the room over here in America, and I suggest the rest of the world gets their self together.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Real talk. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.